Hey, it's Thursdays with Franco, where we talk capabilities, projects, and emerging trends. I return here with my panelists. Hey, Stuart, how are you?
Good, Franco. It's good to be back on TWF.
We missed you last week. And thank you, Alex. How are you?
I'm well, thanks, Franco. Thanks for having me again.
And our special guest today is Rishi. Rishi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, so Rishi, what are you going to show us?
So in today's session, I'm talking about how to use AIDP and generative AI to enrich the data for sentiment analysis.
Fantastic. So this is the third week of AIDP capability. Hey, without further ado, let's get into what you're going to show us.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so first I will go to the AIDP and see. So as we know, right, the main business challenges today is the data quality because the better data help in the better decision making, right? For this demo, I have used the citywide customer tweets, and we have divided this work into the four simple sessions to walk through. The first is, about citywide data. So we can see here, right? So I just quickly want to walk you through the workflow. First is the live tweet in this scenario. We can just assume that the live tweet is coming, which is a data ingestion. So once the live tweet is coming, and this is completely unstructured data, right? So how the city bike operational manager can use this data set and convert into the key insight where he can take decisions to improve the operational excellence. So once the data landed into the branch layer, okay, then we'll go into the data preparation. So in data preparation, we will do the some schema format, and because it is a mandatory to in AIDP before applying the generative AI. So once we have done the data preparations and improve the data quality, okay, then the next part is, how we can use unstructured data with OCI generative AI and do the sentiment classifications, okay, without developing the complex machine learning model. Okay. And the last part is section 4, where once we have done the sentiment classification, then how operational manager can use this key insight and use the OCI generative AIs to develop the report in within a few seconds. Yeah. So this is a complete end-to-end flow. I want to quickly go through it. Okay. So please
That'd be
feel free
great.
to ask if you have any questions. Yeah.
Yeah, this looks really good. So we're ingesting data, we're doing some preparation, doing some classification, and then getting the insight. And you're going to show us this in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you. So in the section 1, right, so first, as I mentioned, we need some tweets to do it, right? So I generated the synthetic data to do our analysis or sentiment analysis. So we can be quickly look at here. We have the customer ID, we have the tweet, and we have the topic. It could be ride, complaint, maintenance, and so on. Then we have the city, station, and tweet date and time. Okay. So this is the key informations we generally need, to do the sentiment analysis, right? Or
Yeah.
sentiment classification. So once our data is landed into the bronze layer, so I quickly want to show you. So we can see here, we have city bike bronze layer and our data landed into the bronze layer table. So we have this data set. So this is completely raw data set. And now our objective is, how we can apply the OCI generative AIs to convert this information into the meaningful actions. So the next step is, once we have done with the data injection, okay, then we'll go for the data preparation, right? So as I mentioned, right, before going into the complete sentiment analysis and apply the large language model into the data, we need to do some data formatting, right? So in this particular stage of data preparations, we are just formatting the schema. Okay? So we define the info schema to make sure that each of the column in their correct format, like it is a text, strings, okay, or it is a date time, then timestamps, and so on. Okay? So now we have done with the schema enforcement, and then finally we save this data into the silver layer. So we can quickly go here and see that in silver layer, we have the data ready for the analysis. Okay, so this is the city bike tweet data with the Infosys schema. The next part is, which is more interesting, so how we are going to use the OCI generative AI, right? So in these sections, we are going to do the sentiment analysis, okay? And first, we need to read the data from the silver layer, right? So after reading the data from the silver layer, okay, we can just quickly display the data. And before going to apply the generative AI, right? So how we are going to use it in AIDP, okay? If we go into the AIDP catalog, okay, I just quickly want to walk you through. So in default options, we have the OCI AI models available. And we can quickly see that, right? All the possible capabilities for the large language model available into the OCI AI model options. So we have the Llama 4, we have the Grok 4, Grok 3, Cohere command models, and so on. So as per our requirement, we can use, for sentiment analysis, any one of the models to do the classification. And how easy to use it? I will just quickly, go through this code, and it is a single line code. We don't need, high-end complex code writing skills to do it. So the first is, we already, read the data from the silver layer. Okay. So once we have read the data, then we need a new column, right? So new column is our sentiment, which will be the positive or negative sentiment about the city bike. And then, we go here, right? So this is the key thing, right? So what particular model we want to use it, we can be directly drag it from here and put it here. That's it. So this is the query model and the model name. So in this case, I use the Grok 4 fast reasons to do the sentiment analysis. So once we have, bring the model into our query, then we'll go and write the very simple prompt, right? So the prompt is what is the sentiment for this review, okay? And answer should be written only the positive and negative. That's it. And then which particular column we want to use it, which is, tweet. Okay, so tweet as a column we want to pass into this particular large language model to do the sentiment classification.
Rishi, just a question. We earlier on in the Thursdays with Franco, we did a session on some of the AI services in OCI, and one of them is the OCI language that has sentiment analysis in there. Presumably, I could use that as well. Is there a similar kind of AIDP command? Oh, it was just Python, isn't it? So presumably, I could call that sentiment analysis from an AI platform.
Yeah, definitely. We can use the OCI language services also to do the classification. Okay. And in this scenario, the major benefit here, we can use directly call the large language model into the AIDP and do the classification as quickly on the unstructured data. Okay, thank you.
Nice, that's good.
So, once we have performed the sentiment analysis, so ideally is to, instead of going into the larger data set, first we want to test it out, this sentiment analysis working or not. And we can see that I just use the 10 sample data set to do the sentiment analysis. And with respect to all the customer ID, we have the sentiment, either it is a positive and negative sentiment. And this sentiment is generated by our OCI generative AI model, large language models. So in this scenario, I've used the Grok for fast reasoning here. So you can see here in the first data set, we don't have any sentiment columns. Now we have used the OCI generative AI large language models, Grok, fast reasoning to generate additional column sentiment to classify the tweets. Once we have this data ready, okay, and then we can save this data set into the gold layer as a final data set. So now we have the data ready, right? But how the city bike operational manager can use it to make a decision, right? So that is the key thing. So we always talk about the data quality, and there's a different challenges related to the data like missing values and so on. Sometimes complete information is not available. But we have effectively used the OCI large language models to improve the data quality, where we have done the sentiment classifications into the positive and negative. But the last point is, very important for the operational manager can use this data set and take some decisions, right? So the final part is to KPI and insight, right? So as a key performance indicator, right, we want to first understand, okay, what is the overall sentiment about the city bike? So this is the first KPI we want to drive it, okay? The second is, we can do the further analysis and try to understand when the customer is doing the tweet. So what particular topic is choosing, right? Either it is related to the experience, complaint, maintenance, ride and service and so on, right? So we can create the another, KPI and try to understand. The another benefit for our AIDP notebook is, we can be quickly see that, okay, if you want to be quickly visualize it and see that, okay, how this topic wise sentiment analysis, so we can quickly understand what is the different percentage is coming here. Very similar to that, we do the another KPI based on the sentiment to understand the sentiment wise information related to the different cities. Either it is a positive and negative, and then again we have all the informations and station wise as well. The last one is the over the period of time how the sentiment is changing, right? So we can quickly go and select the line chart, AIDP, tweet date, and then we can see the percentage. So now we can see that, right, overall the period of time how the sentiment is changing, right? Sometimes some month, particular month it is positive, or particular week it is negative. Yeah. So now we have generated the different KPIs, right, which will help the operational managers to take the decisions, right? But how the operational manager can use this data and develop the key business strategy, right? So in this scenario, the key thing is we are using the OCI generative AI to help us to make the recommendations where the city bike operational manager can understand those challenges in the current business and take the decision appropriately. So for to identify the different key recommendations, what we have done it here, right? So whatever the KPI we have created here, we just pass into the one particular file, and then we go into the prompt, right? So what we want to do it here, so we want the overall sentiment, okay, topic wise sentiment, city wise sentiment, station specific sentiment KPIs, okay. And our expectation is to summarize the key insight, trend, actionable recommendations as a output. And finally, I just to showcase how this overall recommendation is coming, I convert into the HTML page to quickly look at it, right? So once we have done this prompt, and then we can be simply pass into our data frame. That's it. So in this scenario, I use the Grok 3 Minifast to generate the recommendation, right? So we have done with the KPI. Now we can be quickly look at it. This particular, once we have run this particular code, it will generate the recommendations into the one particular folder. So this is the file we have generated city bike feedback reports. So once we have saved this particular report into the city bike folder, let's quickly go through it and understand what the generative AI produced, right? So it's produced the reports for city bike customer feedback reports. Okay, these reports will show the overall KPI sentiment, so we can be quickly understand the percentage of positive tweets or sentiment is high currently, but there is a negative sentiment is also there. So we just quickly want to understand which particular part the negative sentiment is high and how we can take the further action, right? So we can be quickly go drill down and then understand into the action. Okay, so what particular type of recommendations provide the large language model? So we can be quickly see here, right? So the key insight overall 57% of the feedback positive, indicating the general satisfaction. Then the topic wise maintenance experience have the high positive sentiment, which is a 61% and 59% respectively, right? And also it helps us to understand what is the current trend is going on, right? In the sentiment. And the most important thing, it is also telling the actionable recommendations, like we need to focus on the complaint resolution, investigate the common issues on the complaint topics to reduce the negative feedbacks, targeting the underperforming areas, monitoring the daily trend, improve the maintenance and write experience. Okay. So this is the key insight we can, get it with the help of OCI generative AI. So any particular questions about this analysis? And
I really like this this scenario here because I mean, like I'm one of those people that tends to do things in Python, and I tend to bury it in my compute VMs, or I'll put a bit here and a bit there. This is really highlighting. It makes a lot of sense to have something like AIDP, and have these notebooks a lot easier to have a look at, and then actually make them a lot more valuable through the whole process. And you get a lot more people able to participate instead of someone like Franco doing a one-off thing. And you're also, you're showing a myriad of things, not only the GenAI interaction, but whether it's database oriented or object storage oriented, you're able to mix the technology. So, for argument's sake, you've just got a static HTML page here as a record of this thing. And that's actually just a part of the environment. You showed a hard-coded original set of data just to get the mocking up going. So you can see this is about speed. It's about usability and getting it available. So yeah, it's inspired me. Maybe instead of doing my Python burying next time, I should actually look at AIDP.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think the other part of what you just said, Franco, which just caught my eye, was we've been using GenAI to create some MVP apps and then converting those to Apex. We've been doing that a lot recently. What I just saw there with the key insights and the trends and the recommendations is something that we've been building into these apps now. I think, if there's some way to extract the output from here, so those key insights and recommendations, you've got a HTML there. But again, if there was some way to extract that into something that we could then present either through a website or through an Apex app, then again, I think that's really useful. The other thing is, again, building those insights in a central place like this and then consuming them elsewhere. I think that's huge. If we get our head around that bit, and maybe that's something for the new year, Franco. But I really like that idea. So not building insights inside a single app, build them somewhere where your data is kept, and then in consuming it elsewhere. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Sorry, so just want to quickly add it, right? So when we are doing the journey from the silver to gold, right? So as I just mentioned, right, we have the complete flow. So after saving the data into the gold layer, we can be connect with the Oracle Analytics Cloud or any other visualizations tool and do the complete 360-degree visualizations as well. So this is also another capabilities available into the AIDP. Just want to highlight that.
Cool. Okay, we might wrap it up. Is there anything else, Fishy, before we wrap it up and open up to questions?
Yeah, so I just quickly summarizing, right? So we have done the ingested data, and then we have done the data preparation with the schema, run the sentiment analysis using the Grok 3, and generate the KPIs and LLM-based recommendations and HTML report, right? So this is our complete end-to-end data enrichment and sentiment analysis using OCI, AIDP, and generative AI. Thank you.
Thank you. What a great session. Thank you for coming on to Thursdays with Franco today.